I'm like, what the heck is happening? I thought the baby was about to fall out and
so
bust
he dove down.
her
He's
head.
like, let me catch the baby.
I was sore for days.
This is the funny part that my husband will not let me live down. It definitely is what I would consider a supernatural childbirth.
What's up, everybody?
Y'all. As you guys know, we are expecting baby number 2. And as we are on this journey as second-time parents, it has caused us to reminisce on our birth story with our first child, Isabella.
That's right.
Who just turned 2. We realized that most of you have never heard our birth story. So before we have a second birth story, we want to make sure that you hear our first birth story. We had a beautiful birth experience with Isabella. It was definitely one full of peace. It was totally unmedicated, natural, and it was a water birth at the Atlanta Birth Center. It was such an encouraging experience that I'm not afraid to do it again.
Oh, really?
And that is such a blessing to be able to say. Before that experience, there was definitely a lot of fear of all the horror stories.
Crazy talking. Oh, get me the juice!
And women having nightmares and ripping and having
PTSD.
Unbearable pain.
I had no clue women ripped. Some of you guys out there don't know about that either, but apparently that's a thing.
I definitely used to have fear. If our story can encourage any other moms or couples, parents to be, we would be very happy to share that encouragement. If you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss an upload, and you can follow the journey as part of the family. We upload new content every week, and when you subscribe, make sure you leave us a comment saying I subscribed, and we'll be more than happy to reach out to you personally and thank you for joining the family. So I'm gonna reel it back for a second. A couple of years before we conceived Isabella, I read this book that my older sister gave me called Supernatural Childbirth by Jackie Mize.
This girl was going nuts over the supernatural childbirth. You need to read this too. You need to read it right now. She would ask me every few weeks, did you read this book?
It's a really short book.
I'm like, no, I didn't read this book. You're not even pregnant.
All that fear that I talked about having before childbirth, we were married 4 years before we conceived Isabella, and that was intentional. We planned that, but I had so much fear before I read that book, and the book was full of so many testimonies of women who had painless deliveries, where they're like laughing during labor. They have all this peace. It was so amazing, but guys, it actually expanded my faith. In that season, I wasn't trying to conceive a baby, but I started having faith for all aspects of my life.
That's true.
Just in a new way, and started getting excited about what God would do.
You remember we had a faith list, which we did similarly when we got together too.
Yeah, wrote down the things that we were asking God to do in our lives. He did a lot of those things. And
he did.
We really took the limits off of our expectations and just started expecting more, believing for more, and having positive attitudes. Like we were just anticipating something great to happen.
We would be praying about our list together a few times a week. So that was cool.
Yeah.
It was good bonding and kept us in sync on what we were looking for.
Right. Some people define supernatural childbirth as being void of pain. Others describe it more so as being void of suffering, just having an abundance of peace. Even though I did ask God for the no pain, I don't think I ever expected no pain, but I did expect no suffering. And I did expect the presence of God and the presence of his peace and joy and excitement in that time. And that really was my experience. Of course, contractions are pressure, so even conceptualizing it as pressure instead of as pain also helped. But there was never a point that I did not have peace and trust in that time. That's the framework of what supernatural childbirth means to us as we tell our story. So, along with this list that my husband is saying that we created of the things that we were believing God for, I did start, before I conceived our child, I started a list of all the things we were believing God for my pregnancy, for a really positive, healthy, energetic pregnancy experience and labor, delivery, and even recovery. So I had a whole list list of confessions, all these things I was just speaking out loud that I was expecting, that I started getting excited, and it started framing my expectations for what that season would bring. When I did conceive Isabella, my pregnancy was a very positive and beautiful experience, full of gratitude and peace and joy. Oh, and in addition to the spiritual preparation, we did physical preparation, the nutritious diet, daily exercise, stretching for 30 minutes a day, especially for the last trimester, even chiropractic care, getting the Webster treatment in the 3rd trimester, and lots of sleep. Going to sleep early at nights and keeping my stress levels low. Now time for labor. 1 a.m., y'all, my water broke.
We were actually talking to one another. She was like, I wonder what would happen if I have my baby today or tomorrow. And I was like, I don't know. 2 hours later at 1 a.m.
I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. Then your water broke. You're like, I think my water broke. I was like, are you sure?
My water breaking actually woke me up in the middle of the night. 1 a.m. Y'all, I was excited. I turned my worship music on. I got my little exercise ball. I was bouncing on the ball and trying to do my little exercises. I was excited. I pulled up my app to start timing the contractions. Within an hour, they were already a minute apart, and they were already meeting with the 511 criteria for you to call your medical professional. So I did. They said continue to labor at home until 7 a.m. and then come in. We came in at 7. When we arrived, I was already 80% effaced, but only 3 centimeters dilated. They sent me back home to continue to labor. 4 hours later, 11 a.m., came back in. The contractions were even stronger, even faster.
At first she was like, oh, this is fun. Then she started being like, I think I need to go back. So we went back, and that's when they were like, oh, you're still not dilated enough. You got to go back home. I was like, oh, heck.
Then they said that there might be meconium in the fluid, which there wasn't, but they were saying there might be at the time. So that's when they said that we would have sent you back home, but
Meconium,
we're gonna need to...
by the way, is baby's first bowel movement.
That wasn't the case, but they said that that could cause the baby's heart rate to drop. So they needed to monitor the heart rate every 30 minutes, and therefore I needed to labor there, which was great with us because that means we didn't have to go back home, even though it was only 10 minutes away, but we could labor in this nice, a comfortable suite there at the birth center. The midwife even started talking about transferring us to the hospital because, well, the baby's heart rate could drop. And then my husband was so wise as to ask, what are our alternatives? She said, well, we could keep you here for the monitoring every 30 minutes.
Man, I was not having it. I'm like, I paid all of this money and you immediately want to transfer me? Immediately. Yeah. I couldn't believe she was trying to transfer us.
Yeah, but the baby's heart rate never dropped the entire day, but I'm getting ahead of myself. My husband also asked, what naturally can you do to help her dilate? Then she said, well, we can rub castor oil externally on the belly, and also you can use a breast pump. Hook up to a breast pump, and that'll help to stimulate the...
And exercise.
Yes, and exercise. So y'all, my husband here turned into coach for the day.
I had to create a boot camp.
He was phenomenal. You would think that he does this for a living, y'all. Like, you would think he gets paid for this. He was truly phenomenal, like the real MVP. And
I'll take it.
He was amazing. So honestly, I had snacks during the day. This man was giving me counter pressure all day. He didn't eat.
My hands were so tired. I was pushing every time she would have a contraction. I had to push on the external part of her body with like a lot of pressure
on my lower back and massaging it, and it made it so much better for me.
And I had to create a workout circuit for her.
We did the breast pump. It actually made my contractions speed up. Like they were so close together that they were actually overlapping. Contractions are like a wave. You feel it increasing, but then you just hold on because then it's gonna come back down. Then you're gonna have a little rest before it comes back up. Y'all, the waves start going like this with that breast pump. So then I would go into the shower. Water is one of the most effective natural pain relievers. So it actually would slow down my contractions. I'll be sitting on the exercise ball in the warm shower, and it's like, oh, okay, this feels good. I can handle these contractions in here. Then my coach over here is like, all right, your 15 minutes in the shower are up. It's time for you to go do some lunges. Yeah. So he's like, all right, squats. Give me 15 lunges, give me 15 squats. Y'all, this man had me moving, doing the exercise exercises, the breast pump, the shower. They were not gonna allow me to get in the tub until I was 7 centimeters dilated. So this is the magic number we are waiting for all day. And the midwife had said that if you don't reach that point by like 3 o'clock, we're gonna send you to the hospital.
Yep.
Y'all,
we didn't reach that point at 3 o'clock.
We did not, y'all. I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
I was 5 centimeters by that point, and I was supposed to be 7. And I'm like, these contractions are coming. I feel like it is happening. What's going on?
Yeah.
It was actually by 2 o'clock they said that I was supposed to be 6 centimeters. There's a team of midwives, so you don't know who you're gonna get. It was actually the midwife that we liked the least. Everybody else was real friendly, but she had a little bit of state attitude. She ended up talking to the owner who had done some of my clinicals, and they came in, they saw how we were doing. They were like, oh, they're doing great. Leave them alone. Don't worry about a transfer.
Yeah. They didn't transfer us, thank God.
Yeah.
Even though we did not meet that deadline.
We did not. And her attitude even improved tremendously. She was so sweet by the end of the day.
She was real cool at the end of the day.
She was like, you guys are doing great. Like, you don't even need me. You got this. You're coming along. It was later on in the afternoon, guys. My water broke again.
Yeah,
my husband dove down to catch the baby.
It was like 6 o'clock, and we did all of this work, grinding and grinding. Boy, she was exhausted, but she did great. It was probably, at that point, we were already 15 hours in, and she was doing the circuit over and over for probably 5, 6 hours, maybe 7 hours straight. It was a long time, and finally, the water broke. I'm like, what the heck is happening? I thought the baby was about to fall out and bust
he dove down.
her
He's
head.
like, let me catch the baby. Then the midwife realizes that I had a double sac. So there couldn't have been any meconium in the fluid. The baby wasn't even in that sac. I had 2 sacs, and she said that it was a lot more common than what people think. I had never heard of it. We had never heard of it. That's why it was taking so long to progress. After that point, it sped up. Wait a minute. Have you subscribed? If you haven't subscribed, make sure you like the video, click subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Now back to the regularly scheduled programming. And y'all, I was so happy because like using the breast pump to overlap contractions, it was really because of that I had certain moments. I had to literally talk to myself. You are more than a conqueror. You can do this. You
but
can
it was
do
hard.
this.
You could see the despair every time we came around to the breast pump. Just like,
I was like, I don't
about
want
to
to do
be
this.
agony. It was agony on that one.
And then after doing that for so many
But she
hours,
handled it really well. It wasn't like she was in pain. It was just exhausting. You could tell she was physically exhausted after that.
After the water broke the second time, very soon after, I was dilated to 7 centimeters. I was able to get in this tub, and y'all, it was heaven. It was heavenly. It felt amazing. But before I got in the tub,
she asked me to get in that nasty tub.
Wait. But before I got in the tub, this is the funny part that my husband will not let me live down.
What happened?
I went to the bathroom. I was so excited.
Oh, yes. No, she was so excited because there's a certain point you know you've progressed to the last stage. So she had no strength. She was exhausted. She reaches this one point. She was like, oh, the baby's coming. Oh, she said, can you get my purse? I need my lipstick. She's putting on lipstick. Can you get my scrunchie? She has no strength. Can you get my scrunchie?
I was like,
I got to look cute for my baby.
And my earrings and my headband, please.
My earrings. I'm like, this is crazy. Are you serious?
I was like, I gotta look good to meet my baby. I can't be looking like I done been through.
She did. She found the strength to get that lipstick on. The first thing she asked for was lipstick, headband, and earrings.
Y'all, I got in that tub. I had to straighten my hair and everything. So I put my hair up, put my headband around, had my lipstick popping. I got in the tub. I was like, I'm ready to meet my baby.
She asked me to get in that nasty tub, and I
he
had to think about it. I was like, I really want to do this?
It was beautiful, y'all. It was beautiful. I had this song playing on repeat that a friend of mine had sent me, and I listened to it while I was praying during my pregnancy. It's called Thank You by Maverick City. It was so beautiful. I had that on repeat, and the pushing process actually felt easy compared to everything else, because instead of being on these waves, it was like you push and then you feel total peace, and then you push, feel total peace. And I could feel her head coming out the whole time.
That's crazy.
So I was so excited. The midwife had a cold towel on my head. I was squatting when she came out, The water just felt so calming. It was just so exciting. So his arms were around me. My arms are around the baby. When she popped out, it was like
that baby.
It was like an angel that just floated up in the water. Like, she came up so fast. I know that she probably had a cone head and probably looked like an alien, but she looked like an angel to me.
She definitely looked like an alien.
She looked like so
This baby was like,
beautiful
my
to me.
wife was like, oh, she looks perfect. She looks, oh my God, she don't have no cone head. She just looks perfect. I was looking at her like, this looks like an alien. My child is looking like an alien and definitely has a cone head. I just didn't say anything. I was just like, okay, cone head for sure.
She looked perfect to me, looked like an angel, and it was definitely one of the happiest moments of our lives.
It was great.
And
it was a great moment.
we only stayed at the birth center for 7 hours after that. We were able to get in the queen bed together, have skin-to-skin contact. It was nice ambiance lighting.
But the birth actually took place at 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
So that was from 1 a.m. to 9 p.m. That was a long day.
But that's not bad for the first birth, though. Some people are in labor for 3 days straight. So I was grateful that it started and ended kind of in the same day.
Man, that was a long day. It was very active. I was on my feet the entire time.
Y'all, after that, he was acting like he just did all the work. He was acting like he was
crazy?
He was acting like he was more tired than I was.
I probably was. My body was
any
in
woman
shock.
that's ever had a baby, you're about to get blown up in the comments talking about you were probably more tired than me, and I had the baby come through my body.
I probably was.
No
I
way.
get the relief. Your body gives a certain level of hormones after. I don't get that. I was sitting there putting counter pressure every time you had.
I can't believe you just tried that. Talking about because of your counter pressure. I literally
was exhausted.
gave birth.
I'm not saying you didn't have pain. I'm saying I had more exhaustion. I was working. I was
Go
walking.
ahead and tear him up.
I was barely eating.
Go ahead and tear him up with the comments.
I was feeding her, and I wasn't eating that whole day.
He did a phenomenal job. He did a phenomenal job supporting me and encouraging me and telling me I did a great job.
9 p.m.
But I birthed the baby.
You did a great job.
You were a great partner, but I birthed the baby.
You did a great job. All I know is I was sore for days.
Only came through one body.
I was sore for days. My body was stiff. I was like,
and
this is
let me know it
crazy.
too.
My body was done. The next day, I was like, I ain't got nothing. I should have been like regular dads that don't do that for their wives. But then you ain't got nothing to say.
Oh my goodness. I appreciated my husband was the best coach I could have asked for. He literally blew my mind. I couldn't even imagine that he would be that supportive of a partner, and not even just supporting and encouraging me, but literally coaching me through. So he paid attention in our birth class, and you were really amazing. You were definitely amazing. No one else I would have wanted to go through it with.
You're right.
Oh my goodness. Y'all, my mom was there too, and she was just praying and recording the whole time. She said he was doing so much work. She was chilling with her feet up, with her snacks, just praying and recording. She got everything on camera.
She gave me a couple of breaks, maybe 2 breaks, maybe 3. It was good though. I appreciated it.
So y'all, I birthed an 8-pound, 7-ounce baby through a relatively small frame, no tearing at all. It was truly an amazing experience that was full of peace. I was never afraid. It definitely is what I would consider a supernatural childbirth, full of the peace of God. I felt his power, his strength. It was a beautiful experience.
It was beautiful.
And I would describe giving birth like the Christian walk. Like, it's not going to always be easy, but when you have the presence of God with you, it's possible, and you can still have joy and peace in the journey.
And she did really well. She really did. She kept a good attitude the whole time. She pushed through, and she did all the hard work. We definitely bonded through it. And one thing I really loved about our experience at the birth center was that we were able to all get up in the bed and cuddle, the 3 of us, and that was nice. It made me take my shirt off. I was like, she's like, can you take your shirt off? I'm like, what?
And then it was even better that we were able to go home 7 hours later.
Yeah, it was nice.
We also made a video a while ago about sleep training. A lot of people asked us how we sleep train our daughter because she was sleeping through the night at 6 weeks of age.
Yep.
And then by 8 weeks of age, she was sleeping 12 hours through the night. So it was 6 to 8 hours at first, and then 12 hours, and she still sleeps 12 to 13 hours through the night.
Yep.
I will link that video below for you to check that out. You don't have to frame your expectations for your experience based off someone else's negative experience.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided that we wanted a different experience. We wanted a positive experience, and we want to enjoy parenthood as much as possible and let it be the blessing that God intended for it to be. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Again, we truly appreciate your support and encouragement on our journey and celebrating with us. We are queuing up for you next our pregnancy announcement video. If you have not yet seen that, how we found out. Also, make sure you check out our pregnancy update on how the first trimester experience of this pregnancy has been. If you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And when you subscribe, make sure you leave us a comment saying I subscribed, and we'll be more than happy to reach out to you personally. And thank you for joining the family.
And if you made it this far, comment Supernatural for the Supernatural Childbirth that we had, and it was great.
And then stay tuned for birth story number 2.
Until next time, guys, peace.